Welcome to our crazy life
with Clay and Wanda. Welcome to the podcast. This is Clay.
This is Wanda.
And you can follow me at It's Clay Bowman on my Instagram, Twitter, and I think that's it. I forget what my Snapchat is.
That's all on the website too, huh?
Yeah, it's all on the website. Links to our social media and all that jazz.
For any creepers out there. Oh, yeah, I seen that and I was like, oh, do I really want to put that on there? But I think I updated some of it.
Yeah, because to our listeners, we're still updating our website. Like COVID, we're just taking it easy.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, yeah, because that was a discussion that has been going around lately. Like, I see it on social media, and people at work have been asking me if I think that people are just rude and nasty today because of COVID.
And I think people are rude and nasty because they're told what to do.
Yeah.
And you got people that don't want to listen to what they're recommended or what they're mandated to do. So if they're being forced to do something that they don't feel like they have to, that's whenever you got the ignorant people coming out and people being rude and just like all nasty to you and stuff, which honestly, there's a lot more people than, 2 years ago in this world that were pretty nasty.
Yeah, because today we went to one of the outlets here in Phoenix, and we're about to go. I think it was Converse or it was one of the stores, and this woman, she comes out and she just stands there in front of the door, just looking around, and Chad's like, "Excuse us, Karen."
Oh God.
And she just put her nose up and walked away, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, did you ever get behind someone in a grocery store that just wants to stop in the middle of the aisle and it's like they know you're behind them, but they just stand there anyways, and it's just like, dude, like, go. Like, and now with all these restrictions, how can you social distance from people like that?
Well, that's funny because, like, they desperately want everybody back at my work. Chad's work, not so much.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm astonished because I'm like, I work for an Army hospital, and they want everybody back, and they were like, can everybody be 6 feet apart? And I'm like, what? Yeah, like they want to do you take your temperature when you come in? No, I don't.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, it's asinine. And then they're asking everyone, they're like, don't hold back. And a lot of people are like, I want to work from home. Is it that hard to just let me stay at home?
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that you can do from home, wouldn't that be the better option?
Yeah. And I mean, of course, I'm there every day because I'm at the warehouse for shipments coming in and everything. But if nothing's going on, I'll head home and hop on the computer.
Yeah, really.
But
like
I mean,
our schools, like, go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep
not
paying attention.
Oh yeah, we can go into the schools, but like it's just crazy here because like they want to act like COVID's over in Arizona, but we're still one of the top places in the world for catching COVID.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I seen an article saying about how like they're trying to get the governor to not be so like lenient whenever it comes to like the restrictions over there, and I'm like, I don't understand what is going on in this country right now with all these states opening completely back up, releasing their mask mandates, and it's just like, you're not out of the woods. Like, your entire state's not vaccinated, and then what if they go to a different state and it's just absurd.
Yeah, because I heard that like some states are eventually going to require you to show your vaccination card. And I'm like, what? Yeah, to fly and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, what?
I did hear about flying, and that was before like the vaccine started to go out and everything. But I'm like, oh, so if I want to fly, I got to get vaccinated? Like, what if I don't want to? I guess
Yeah.
I'm not flying. It's like having a passport to leave the country. I'm going to have a little passport to leave the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
It's
because
like freaking absurd.
like the meeting that I had at my job, they were like, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear masks and blah blah blah. And I was like, no, that is not what the CDC says.
Exactly.
And and so I was like, I'm just going to pose a stupid question that I know everybody's going to be all confused if this situation happens. And what happens if one of your family members has COVID and you're vaccinated? You're supposed to
Mm.
quarantine, right? And one of our doctors was on the line and she's like, yeah. She was like, you're not immune to COVID with the vaccine. It's just another layer of protection.
And then also you have the germ. You're carrying the germ with you.
Yeah.
If your child or your husband or something has it, you're gonna leave your house thinking, okay, if I wash my hands, if I use hand sanitizer and stuff, I'm fine. Well, the thing is, that germ's now on your clothing and stuff. So you're leaving that house, you're going to wherever, and you know that COVID's back at your house, but
Yeah.
you're now like giving it to everybody else that might be within like it doesn't even really matter if you're in 6 feet. If you walk through somewhere, those germs are now there.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like, yeah,
There's a,
things
yeah.
speed. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just crazy. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really crazy because now, like I told Chad, I was like, honestly, if they lift restrictions, or if they're like, well, if you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear your mask. There's going to be so many people here that are going to be like, yep, I got the vaccine, but they
And they
never did.
didn't. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what my fear is here. It's like you don't tell people, oh, you can go do this. You don't have to wear that, because everyone's going to think, oh, well, who's going to know?
Yeah.
So we're just going to do the same thing, and then it's just going to be a whole big thing again because you have all these unvaccinated people running around the street without their mask on, giving their COVID germs to everybody else.
Yeah. Because, like, like a crazy thing is here in Arizona, we're not under a governor's mandate for anything because lovely Ducey didn't want to make a decision for COVID.
Oh,
So, and we were all screaming for mass, mass, mass. So he left it to the mayors. So, especially in the Phoenix area, all of the little cities that make up Phoenix, all the mayors are like, yes, this is my mass mandate. So, like the governor don't even have to lift anything. It's going to be the mayors.
see, now that's totally different here because the governor mandated everything. The
Yeah.
entire state of Pennsylvania has a mask mandate. However, you got the local mayor saying, "Well, I'm not going to enforce that. You do what you want."
Ugh.
How is that like standing behind the governor and making sure your city's safe?
Yeah, because that's what happened down south at in southern Arizona. A mask mandate went out, and the sheriff said, "Well, I don't believe in the mask mandate, and I'm not going to enforce it." So yes, everybody was like, so law enforcement's taking the law into their own hands."
Exactly. And then half of
'Cause-
them, you see them out and they don't have them on either. It's like, how are you going to pull over a car, come up to someone's window without a mask on your face? If I got pulled over for whatever reason, running a red light, speeding, whatever, and I see a cop standing at my window right now without a mask on, I will not open my car window. I don't want your damn germs, and I don't care if you're a police officer or what you are. You're not above COVID.
yeah, because
So,
it's really crazy because like, oh, everybody bitches about wearing a mask and stuff, but honestly, like me, I work in my own private office, so I'll just pull it down. But if someone comes in, I put it back up, and I was even thinking of installing plexiglass around my desk
oh God,
because people started doing that here because you never know. Because when
yeah.
everybody returns to work, we have everybody for the one time in a month, and it's nuts. And we had some people that were COVID positive that came in last weekend, and we're like, oh my goodness, because we're the ones that have to end up cleaning everything.
Oh no, I'd be like, you cleaned up your own germs.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
brought
and I
them here.
mean, and then you got some crazy people that they're on their hands or knees scrubbing every part of toilets, and I'm like, it's not that necessary to do that.
That's whenever you're like, more power to you. Here's the sponge.
Yeah.
Go right to town. Oh my gosh. Like our school apparently is opening back up for like full in-person learning on Monday. And I don't understand how they can do that. But luckily like virtual is still like an option and that's what we're saying. But you can't manage to keep kids safe and teachers safe with having half the school there at one time and remain like your social distancing. But how are you going to have an entire class? You know, like there's 20 to 30 kids in a classroom with some teachers, and you're how are you going to maintain that social distancing in that? Because
What they do here is masks are mandatory no matter what.
yeah, so here too.
And the janitors come in because our high schools are different than Pennsylvania. They're mostly outdoor. It's hard to explain it because the high schools here, because it gets so hot,
Mhm.
we we don't have like the hallways are outside, and it's like sort of like trailer classrooms in a way. And then the high schools here, we don't do like the full 7 periods. They break it up into blocks. So half of your classes are over 2 semesters,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. So, I mean, the classes, like the kids, it's not like so many different kids rotating in and out of the classrooms here.
You're pretty
So
much with the same group.
yeah, they're with the same group, and then it's easy because in the morning, janitors are sanitizing everything, and then after school, the janitors are there with like extra people, and they're re-sanitizing everything. And if there's a COVID outbreak in a classroom, they completely uh, identify everybody that was in that room and all that stuff for the day, and then they're separated. Like they've gotten it down to a science here.
Yeah. Well, one thing with like I think they do pretty much the same thing here with the whole sanitation and if there's an outbreak, they let you know and they inform everyone that was in that class. However, if you have a child that goes to school, you know, and they're positive and you don't know that they're positive, who else were they around
Yeah.
before, after, and during the school? Who else passed through the germs that are in the hallway? You know, because you have to share the same hallway to go to the bathroom and to lunch,
Well, the virus doesn't last that long outside the body.
doesn't it? I thought it did.
No, no. Uh, it, I forget what the timeline is now, but like it'll fall on services and stuff, and that's why you still need to sanitize. But I've seen sanitized crews just use a sprayer, and that's all they use is like a mist sprayer with chemicals in there over everything. But we're all paranoid in the army bases here, so we're like bleach spraying, wiping down, like everything.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
But
I don't want the germs. It took me all this time to not catch it. I don't want it. So we're just gonna stay safe in my house and just keep everyone home until beginning of next school year.
yeah, because that's what a lot of people are saying that the school year really isn't going to go back to normal until the fall.
I feel
And then,
like they should have just left the kids in school the end of last year because it wasn't really bad. You know, they could have made it through the entire rest of the school year and then did the whole like virtual thing this year and not have to worry so much about getting kids back into school. But I mean, if you have the right teacher, you can successfully do virtual learning. And I feel like that's a lot of the problem that a lot of people are having with the virtual learning is they have like just random people like teaching your children. And Roman, he's only in first grade and he is literally on like his fourth teacher because they get
yeah.
people in there and it's just like they can't handle it or for whatever reason they don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, oh my god, Dallas, he was assigned to a teacher at the beginning of the year who failed to give us all the correct information that we needed to log into all his platforms and everything. And I'm like, what the heck? But ever since then, he's had the same teacher. And I mean, she might be boring to some people, but oh, compared to some of Roman's teachers that he's had throughout this 3 marking periods, like this woman, I'd rather sit there and listen to her than the one Roman currently has because I think she was just somebody they brought in out of administration and threw on a computer to teach these kids because I'm like, dude, I could do a better job than you. Throw me on a classroom and I'll teach them because that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
you have to ultimately do that at the end of the day anyways, because your children, they're not paying attention to these boring ass people, you know?
Well, that was the problem that I had here was they have completely different online teachers than the in person.
Yeah.
And then like my kids were struggling with the online. Like it just was not working. And like they would fall asleep on the computer, miss attendance. Like it was crazy.
Oh
And
gosh.
like and then you're trying to tell me that a fourth grader knows Microsoft Teams when the teacher never even taught, the kids how to use it.
Yeah,
Because my
that's
Yeah, because
crazy.
my fourth grader was like, I can't find my assignments. I was like, well, did your teacher teach you anything on Teams? He was like, no, they told us to go get our parents. And I was like, oh, hell no.
Oh gosh.
And then all my other kids, everybody was struggling. And then it took about a month for them to realize that I was very smart on Microsoft Teams. And then they're like, well, why didn't you help us? I was like, you didn't ask. I was like, I'm
Exactly.
assuming, I don't know.
I mean, if my kids ask for help, I'll help them. Austin's
Yeah.
like, how do you know all this stuff? And I was like, because I've been through this grade before. It's not
Yeah.
something. It's like riding a bike. You know how to do it. If you learn once, you know it. But yeah. So I have found myself once again becoming teacher for first, second, third, and seventh. And the ninth grader, I've told you many times about her, but I offer her help. Does she want it? Does she take it? Absolutely not. So whenever she fails, she fails.
Yeah, because that's how I am with my older boys. Because if their grades are slipping and I'm like, do you need a tutor? Do you need help?
Mm-hmm.
And they say no. I'm like, okay. I was like, you're accountable for your grades. And this is the report cards just came out today. And this is the first time no Fs
Oh
from
my
any of my
goodness.
kids. So, like, we're getting back into the groove here, how it should be. But, like, they tried to shut our schools down a few weeks ago. Like, they were shut down for 2 days because there was a major spike
Mm-hmm.
but like I'm pretty sure you saw that story about how the school board wasn't muted and they have said oh, sorry that their babysitters aren't here. Well, that's pretty much how it is here. There's a lot of underprivileged parents that I know that they desperately need their children to be going to school.
Well, yeah. I honestly feel like the way they started off the school year here with the elementary in school and then spread throughout like the junior high was probably the best way because those younger kids are the ones that need it the most. And those are also the kids that cannot stay home by themselves while mommy and daddy go to work. So, what was the issue with just doing that and leaving secondary virtual? I mean, it's so much easier to leave a 12, 13, 17-year-old child at home while you're at work, than to leave a 6, 7, 8-year old, even at home with their 17-year-old brother. It's just, I think they should have just left it as it was then and just dealt with everything. But who am I to say anything? And I have kids virtual, so that's just the way we're staying. And I'm just glad for their sake and for mine that it's something they're keeping until the end of the year at least. And I feel like I'm getting sick.
Oh no.
my my nose burns. This morning I woke up, I tried to talk and I couldn't, and I'm like, oh no. I keep trying to taste stuff to make sure
Oh my god.
because someone will be like something stinks, and I'm like I can't smell anything. But uh, luckily I can still taste because if I couldn't, I'd be like having a problem because all this time and it's gonna wait all this time a year later that I'm gonna get something.
But it's like I tell my family members and friends that had COVID, and they're like, I couldn't taste anything. I was like, I would be chugging all kinds of alcohol.
Oh god, there
I
you
can't
go.
taste none of it.
Yeah, then you'll have yourself like alcohol poisoning or something.
Yeah.
No, that's when you ever eat like really healthy food that you would never eat and you stick your nose up to any other time. Like, like for me, like peas and Brussels sprouts. But I don't know. I don't know if I could do that because it's like
Also,
still a
yeah.
sense that ew, I know I don't like these, and I'm not gonna like in the middle of chewing this, I'm going to get my taste back.
Yeah, because I saw a video of a woman eating like broccoli and then she was sniffing an Oreo.
Oh my goodness. Jeez. Yeah, I've seen people try to trick their nose into thinking that they're eating whatever it is that they're smelling. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it because I know no, I'm not that stupid to sit there and think, oh, I'm eating something chocolatey. Yeah, no, you're not. You're eating some broccoli. I don't mind the broccoli, but like,
Funny because like Randy's birthday was uh, this week,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't have much time because I'm very busy, and I ended up getting him a cake from Walmart. And he was like, "What the fuck? Why are you getting me a cake from there?" I was like, "What?" Because he thought that I was going to get him this cheesecake and all that. But I normally would, but I was so busy. Like it's just been crazy the last 2 weeks.
Well, hey, if he had a problem with the Walmart cake, you could have got him a box of Duncan Hines and a can of icing, and told him to make it himself.
Oh my God.
Because I'd be like, well, you know what? You don't want the Sam's Club cake or the Walmart cake or whatever cake. Well, then, would you like me to just go to the grocery store and just get you a box of it and you can make your own damn cake? Because it's either that or that. And
Well, I mean, you know how our family is. Like, we're very spoiled people, and I love getting cheesecakes from the Cheesecake Factory.
yeah, well, we don't have one of them here, so don't rub it
Yeah.
in.
Oh, I get the Hershey's chocolate cheesecake, which is it's a Hershey chocolate cake in with the chocolate cheese. It's amazing. That's my favorite because like
It's
at
like a lot
work.
of chocolate.
Oh yeah, like as I got older, I can't barely even make through a slice because it is just too overwhelming. But when I was in my 20s, I could put it away, but I can't now. But this woman, well, my coworker, she brought in cheesecake, and it was like cinnamon cheesecake. And she was like, "You want some?" And I was like, "Is it chocolate?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I only eat chocolate cheesecake."
Oh my goodness. That doesn't even sound good.
Oh, it does. If you would have it, you'd be like, "Oh my God."
Oh no, the chocolate does. The cinnamon, like the cinnamon cheesecake. Like,
It was
what?
a lot of people had it. They said it was pretty good.
Yeah,
But that's the thing here in Phoenix. Like anything that you could ever think of wanting, we have it here, and they even deliver it to your house. That's what I should have did. I
there
had
you
them
go.
delivered it.
Yeah,
I always forget about that.
got hush hush. He might forget.
But like for my mother-in-law, she's in Colorado, so like sometimes I'll send her a cheesecake for her birthday, and they'll overnight it in like a frozen like refrigerator box.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think the closest cheesecake factory we have is Pittsburgh, which is kind of sucky that we don't have them. But oh well. I've never actually eaten there, so it's not like I'm missing anything.
Yeah, with the pandemic, like a lot of the restaurants, like I have a lot of friends that said the Cheesecake Factory like level of food went downhill. Because they're also a restaurant, so like I love their shepherd's pie. Like they have some really good food.
Yeah, what exactly is that?
Oh, well, I guess you're not part Scottish.
Well, I guess I'm not.
No, a shepherd's pie is like a really old dish, and it's like hamburger. Like you mix stuff in with the hamburger, and then like put like corn and stuff in there, and then mashed potatoes on top of it. It's very yummy.
It just sounds like some ordinary meal.
Well, I'm pretty sure you probably had it.
I probably have. It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
My mom always made us eat weird crap. She probably just never called it that.
Yeah, because my mom, she cooked stuff, and now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, she was cooking old family recipes from Scotland.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because I try to cook, like I try to go all out on the Scottish holidays cooking for my family, and they just want no part of
Mm.
it.
Oh my goodness.
Because you cook everything from scratch, and I'm like, well, my family were farmers, so I'm like, that's what you do. You live off the land.
Oh my goodness. So you want to know how my kids are very observant. We went to Sheets the other day to get gas, and it's the one over by the hospital. I don't know if you know that there's one over there, but
Yeah.
yeah. So we're pointing the bridge to come back over across the bridge, and I get out of the car to pump my gas. I literally am outside of the car maybe 5 minutes. Well, I didn't hear anything, but whenever I got back in, I said to them, so yeah, so we're getting gas, and there apparently was a wreck right in front of my car on the road, and my kids nor my dad's girlfriend seen this happen, and it wasn't there whenever I got out of my car. So I'm like, what in the world? And I'm like, you people, like, thank God they didn't come ask for like any witnesses because they were sitting there like probably staring right at it happen, and they don't even see it happening, and it's just like, are you kidding me? There was four people in my car, and not one single person seen this. I'm like,
Sounds like
okay,
my kids.
that's quite interesting. Yeah, I told Dan I need to start writing some stuff down because there was a couple things that I wanted to
Oh
bring
my
up, but I
God.
forgot what they were. And I'm like, oh, now, oh wow, I guess I'm not talking about that. The last 2 nights I couldn't sleep very well, though. Hopefully tonight I can actually pass out and go to sleep.
Yeah, this is my first weekend at the urgent care, so we'll see how it goes.
You're gonna come home from that shift and be like dead tired on Sunday.
Yeah, because I have to be there from 7 in the morning and I'm not done till 8 p.m.
Mm,
I
uh-oh.
know,
Mm-mm.
but it's what I need to do.
Is your family
But
good with that?
they are, I mean, they don't like that pretty much I'm not home anymore.
Oh gosh. Hey, at least they can do whatever. They just don't have someone cooking their dinner.
Well, Chad cooks, but I'm cooking meatloaf right now. But us trying to get back on the healthy train these last couple months is chicken meatloaf, which the older boys stick their noses up at.
No, that's why you don't tell them what's in it.
Yeah.
You just cook
Well,
it, and they'll never know.
well, we were going to lunch, and of course, Randy was home from school, and he was like, "Where you going?" I was like, "None of your business."
Oh my gosh.
And he's trying to tell me what he wanted for lunch to bring back, and I was like, "Can't hear you."
Oh my goodness. They're like, we got some bread. Make a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, like I have my special K cereal that I eat for breakfast, and that apparently is some good ass cereal because
Everybody else wants it.
oh yeah, and I'm like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's the thing in our house. Like these kids have been hurting because like for the past couple of weeks they haven't gone grocery shopping with us, which means they don't get anything, and
Gosh.
that's our rule.
If you're not there, you can't get it. Yeah, I don't like going grocery store with my kids. They're not very behaved.
Ours is, I mean, well they know they'll get the business at home if they're not.
Yeah, wow. I lately have been losing my mind. Like, I will start yelling at them in the store, or I'll be loud, and I'm like, I'm not like that. Normally, I go up to them and get in their face and like, but anymore, I'm like screaming at them. I'm like, at least I'm not going up to them and beating their butt like some parents would have.
Well, I mean, I'm just like my mom and dad because, like, if Zach is being stupid in the grocery store and, like, if he falls off the cart or something, I'll just automatically be like, that's what you get for being stupid. And then people look at me and give me an approval look.
Oh my gosh.
Because
Yeah, well,
he always fights me over pushing a cart, and I was like, "You're not that strong."
oh my goodness. Yeah, whenever I do have a kid in like Sam's Club with me and they want to push, I'm like, go right ahead. So then I make sure to load like some like cases of water on the bottom of the cart. So now, it's pretty impossible for them to push it. And I'm like, see, guess I'm gonna have to just push it. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like,
Yeah, but it's raining here today. It rained last night, and then the phone was like a chance of sprinkles, and it was like raining crazy.
it rained here too. Like we were gonna take the boys outside to play and couldn't because it was raining. I'm like, oh great. There's only so many days like, we can actually go out and it's not just me because they take advantage of how like they act around whenever I'm there. Like and then I go tell their dad and they're like, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. She's lying. I'm like, yeah, okay, because I have nothing better to do. Just make up some lies because you guys, I was just getting out to get you guys in trouble. My kids never do any wrong.
We had Randy's birthday dinner, and of course, he brings his girlfriend.
Oh goodness.
So I'm like sizing her up.
Oh gosh.
Oh, but you could tell she was a little scared,
Mhm.
but that is life.
Yeah, well, at least he's older. I got my oldest, who is only 13, having teenage drama with his quote girlfriend. I'm like, oh my god, like, dude, like, you need to just suck it up because you were 13 years old. And I told him I was like, I, you're not going to talk to me, so I can't just assume things, but no girl or guy is worth this. And, because he was like all depressed and stuff. And I'm just like,
Oh,
no one's worth you feeling like this. You'll soon realize that.
exactly. That's what we tell our kids too. Because like I was all excited in the beginning when they were dating someone, and now I'm like, ugh.
Like,
Because,
yeah.
yeah, my kids have gone through a few girlfriends, and I'm like, oh my God, spare me.
And it's just the same drama over and over. It's like a revolving door. One's in,
Yeah.
it's all great. They leave, they're crying, and now the next one's here. They're having all this fun, and then they're crying, and it's just like you you'll get over it. It's not the end of the world.
Oh, to them it is because, like, I'm not going to say which kid of mine, but one of their breakups, they said it was mutual. But he's in there watching like Lifetime movies, listening to sad songs, like eating cake,
Oh
and
god.
and I'm like, are you okay?
Oh man.
Or they'll be blasting all by myself.
Oh man. Yeah, by the
And
time that happens, man, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check on my son and be like, "Are you alright?"
but I'm laughing so hard because these boys, like, they'll blast their music, and like one of them was listening to Poker Face, and I could hear it at my desk, and I'm like, are they playing Poker Face?
Oh my goodness.
Or they love listening to In Sync. And
Oh.
I'm like, I'm like, what the hell? And then they're like, oh, I was like, they're from the 90s. And they're like, well, they're new to us. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. Things from the 70s and 80s are from them too, but they're new to us. They're like,
Yeah.
they're old. Yeah. Somehow, like, whenever you talk about a 90s band, isn't the same thing as like an 80s band. It's just like, well, 80s are old. 90s aren't that old.
Well, I'm a huge Cardi B fan. So
Oh, jeez.
I got Cardi B on my playlist. And when they heard it one day, they're like, what?
Oh,
They were even recording it on Snapchat so their friends could see that their dad listened to Cardi B.
oh my goodness.
I was like, whatever.
Well, Austin has music this semester, so a couple of his assignments were about rock music, and I'm like, oh, this should be interesting. So he's like, I need your help, and I was like, trying to help him. I was like, well, did you watch the video that you're supposed to? He's like, well, now I'm not listening to that crap, and I was like, but how are you gonna answer these questions? Oh, that's why I need your help. I'm like, really? And he's like, I can't listen to rock music, my ears will bleed. And I was like, um, What is so wrong with it? I mean, there's different forms of rock music. Like, what are you talking about? I played the Beatles for him. He was fine with the Beatles. I go into the 80s and play Poison. He wanted to cry. I'm like, you, child, are making me sad. Like,
You're showing him the wrong 80s.
well, what am I supposed to show him? Julio? Like,
No, he should listen to some like Whitney, like 80s Whitney.
well, that's
Mike,
R&B. Well, that would be like R&B, and that's what he listens to.
well, what about Michael Jackson?
Uh, Michael Jackson's like R&B too, ain't he?
No, he was the king of pop.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Or
Um,
Elvis.
so,
Elvis is what everybody thinks of with rock.
yeah, he probably would listen to Elvis because he's back like before the '80s. Seems
Yeah.
like the newer rock is what he really like has a fit about. He's like, "Oh, my dad's stuff, you can't hear, you don't can't understand what he's saying." I'm like, "Your dad listens to crap music." I don't even like that, and I like all music, but not that
Yeah.
crap. I'm like, I'm good. He listens
Yeah.
to like Misfits and crap, and it's just like, we don't do that here. I will listen to pretty much any music that there is, except for that, and other stuff like that. He's like, oh, I'm not doing very good in that class. And I'm like, well, you need to start doing the assignments the correct way. I'm like, oh my goodness. Can't wait to they give him something about country or something to really throw a fit. Of course, I let him listen to Blake Shelton, and he was all about Blake Shelton.
Yeah, when I was at the doctor's office working, they were like, I bet we know what kind of music you like. You're from Pennsylvania. You like country. And I was like, no.
Oh God,
I was like, I like some country, but I was like, only because those were my favorite artists growing up. I was like, I don't even listen to any of the new country.
yeah. See, that's how like I grew up on country music too.
Yeah.
But I like pretty much anything that I can understand.
Yeah, because like I'm a big Unsolved Mysteries fan, and there's a metal
Oh my God.
there's a metal band that redid the theme song, and it's like all like screaming at you, and I was like, this isn't bad.
Oh my goodness. Jeez.
And we have a friend that loves like punk rock type stuff, like scream at me music,
Yeah, I know.
and you would never think that she liked that.
Mm-mm. Like you listen to that on your own time. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but because I've been watching Broughton on Netflix, like we
What?
watched that whole series, the
What's called?
Broughton.
What?
I'm probably saying it wrong, or Bruton, or
Let me
it's
look.
like a period piece. What, you haven't heard about it?
No, no.
It's really good because they like it really got me into a different type of music because like they'll have the balls and they're dancing and they're it's not like vocal songs. Like they remake some Taylor Swift and some other songs, and it's all instrumental.
Huh.
And
Interesting.
I found a lot more like songs like that on Apple, and I was like, oh, these are really good to just listen to, like in
Hmm.
the background. Because we used to play like a French cafe channel on Pandora for our dogs when we weren't home.
Your dogs are spoiled too.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the kids would always like we get home and the kids would be like, "Wow, it's so elegant in here."
Oh my goodness. Yeah, our rabbit is pretty spoiled. Like he will literally sit there and dig through his food and leave the stuff that he doesn't like. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not gonna pick that all out of your food, so you're just gonna have to deal with it, bud. I guess if you get hungry enough, you'll eat it.
Yeah, I'm motioning to other people because our dog is chewing up a dog bed.
I don't think you can really hear it.
Yeah, he was about to get the business, and I was like, "Oh, time to go on mute."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because the temperature's dropping here because of the rain, but it's been a nice lazy day. I needed it. And then my kids come into the bedroom around like 3 or 4, and they're like, next week is spring break, and I'm like, no.
Oh goodness. Like starting Monday or the week after that?
Yeah, Monday through Friday next week. Ugh.
Yes,
And I'm like,
that's another thing that they're having like a COVID scare about. Like people actually doing spring break this year, and like especially with Florida being one of the states that completely opened back up, they fear like there's going to be another spike in like viruses after spring break.
oh yeah,
Then you have Easter. Taryn's birthday's on Sunday, and he thinks he gets special privilege starting apparently tomorrow on everything, video game privileges. I'm like, dude, you are
yeah.
not.
Randy was like, just put some money on my card so I can go to Goodwill, and I'm like, Goodwill.
What?
I'm like, whatever, dude. Go be you.
Goodwill.
And I told people at work, and they're like, I wish my kid was like that.
Apparently, I see a lot of like people with like teenage kids, like 80s stuff is apparently making a comeback.
Yeah.
And my cousin's wife is like, I wish I would have saved my 80s clothes. Now I don't have to, have my daughter going out and, going thrift shopping for 80s clothes. And I'm like, oh my goodness, please no. Like
My kids wouldn't wear my clothes.
the
They
MC
were,
Hammer balloon pants. Like, could you imagine?
yeah, I had those. I also had like the windbreaker outfits.
Uh, that's actually one of the things that I've seen kids wearing, and it's just like, oh no, please don't. But they have those 80s proms and stuff here, so it's like people apparently aren't out of the 80s yet.
Oh
But
my
I'm like,
God.
I could never, like, 80s music's one thing to listen to, but I could not go to an 80s prom and dress up with hairdos, like, clear up to the sky, and balloon pants on, like, and bright colors, like the neon bright pinks and
Yeah.
greens. No, I'm good.
Yeah, my kids are like, I wish I lived in the 90s. And I was like, why?
It was so cool then.
Yeah, that's what they say. And I'm like, no. I
Oh,
was like, everybody forgets about the gas outage during the Saudi war
oh my goodness.
and all this crazy shit that happened in the 90s. Everyone always forgets about all of it.
Well, you can't forget about Bill Clinton being president and his scandals.
Oh, yeah.
You should tell them about that. They might find some interest in all that crap.
Well, after Trump, then you can't. Bill Clinton like gets a pass for everything now.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he didn't do that. He's okay. He's like
Yeah.
Donald Trump, on the other hand, man. He's something else.
Well, now he, I guess, is removing himself from the Republican platform this week, and he told his supporters to send their donations directly to him
What?
and not to the convention. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's going to go great.
What is he
Because,
broke now or something? Paying
well,
all his lawyer fees?
when he was still in office, the last final days, he was funneling millions of dollars of donations to himself because under the law it said that he could do that to be paid or something. It was something crazy. And it's probably the same that he's trying to do now because he's attacking anybody that spoke up against him or said, that it was what happened at Washington was wrong, like in the Republican Party. Like he's going after everybody.
Oh my goodness. See, he's just a big crybaby. He just needs to like
Yeah.
go on his merry way and just live his life.
Yeah.
I still can't wait and see how long it's going to take his wife to divorce his ass.
Yeah, I'm thinking when New York comes for him, Melania's going to be like, I'm out.
They've been married long enough. She has citizenship here, doesn't she? She doesn't have to be with him anymore.
But it's not that because like I listened to Donald Trump's niece's book, and apparently, uh, for all of his former wives, he had a prenup, and it went like the longer they were married, the more stuff they got.
No.
So people are thinking she's just waiting to a certain point of the prenup to just be like, okay, this is it.
Well, their kids, what, like 15? And they were married before him, weren't they?
Oh yeah, they were married before she had their kid.
So what are they going on, like 17, 18 years?
Yeah, because I think like he has 2 years left in high school or something.
Hmm. I give her 20 years. It's probably something to do with like 20-year limit.
Yeah, because I think it's all going to go crashing down because New York has found a lot of stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's just, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm like, now, because that's what they said this week. They're like, it's so peaceful. When Biden was signing the COVID stuff into law, they're like, it was so peaceful, and we're still not used to it going back to that.
Right? Oh my gosh. And then like this border wall thing, like it's got to come down, right? Because like, how did those people in Arizona or California, wherever that happened, how did they get into? Were they living in the states? Those, you know what I'm talking about? Those people that died in the
Well,
crash, or they come from
oh yeah, oh
Mexico?
yeah.
They were
Oh
living there.
no, no, they think that they were illegal immigrants, but that's the normal thing here out in the West because Trump wasn't building a new wall. What they were building was replacing wall that was already existing. Because like they tried to make the wall go into Indian territory here in Arizona.
Oh gosh.
So they've been in the courts for a few years now fighting it because they wanted to, like, the Native Americans had a cemetery. They wanted to dig up the cemetery and move it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and you don't do that.
No, you definitely don't. Yeah, the first time I seen that article, I was like, I was like, I was like, normal people would be like, oh, that's so sad, like people died in an accident. No, my thought is, how did they get 27 people into an SUV?
Oh, you would be surprised. Like you see it all the time here.
Like, I just want to know how you're puzzling pieces together to get that many people in there. I'm like, what in the world? Like, here, we actually were on 99 once coming back to Altoona, so we were coming south. Or we were going. I think yeah, we were coming south because we passed the car. But there was like this hatchback, like two-door type looking car, so a very small car, and there had to have been like 10, 12 people shoved into that thing,
Yeah.
and it was weighing low to the ground, and I'm like, what in the world is that? And we're just like gawking on the way past. I'm like, whoa. And then, not to mention, like a lot of like Hispanic guys. I mean, they're not thin. They're not like huge, but they're not thin. So you got like little like extra weight in there. It's like you don't have 27 kids piled into that car. You got 27 grown ass adults, and it's just like, oh my gosh. It still confused me for so long after, even after I heard like what type of vehicle, because then I have a picture of like what I'm trying to puzzle people into, and it's just like, huh, wow. And then it said that they hit a truck, and then now that truck hit them, and I'm like, well, clearly the driver's dead. But I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was some messed up stuff. And I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time, and they'll be like you. It's easy to spot the illegal immigrants here because they're all packed in like big groups,
Hmm.
waiting for work. Yeah,
Looking for one person. Take me, take me. Oh my god.
yeah, but I mean, like the thing is, like they're not getting over the border; they're digging tunnels.
Yeah.
That's how they get in.
So what's a wall helping anything? Like they're gonna get
No,
in. If they want in, they're gonna get in.
yeah,
No.
it's just asinine, and I mean, people been waiting like in Mexico for a new president so they could come over and like they only come into the country if they have someone already here and
Yeah.
they vet them, and then after the quarantine phase, they get a court date like way down the road, and then they get a bus ticket to go to their relatives, and then their relatives vouch for them.
Yeah.
So when people are like, oh no, it's drug traffickers and all that, it's not, because I saw it firsthand, because they were dumping them everywhere in Phoenix, and all the churches came together, and we developed a network to house them until their buses left. And it was crazy. Like it was like every day, like different times, people being dropped off. But on that note, our dinner's ready, so
Enjoy.
yeah.
Guess I'm gonna have to make. What the heck was that?
Oh, that was Zach acting like he's Tina Turner, singing in the mic.
I was like, oh, Clay turned into a girl. I'm like, what in the world?
What? Oh, now he's asking, are you live?
Not live, but we're recording, and I'll make sure he's in it.
Oh, you want to tell everybody hi? Go ahead.
Hi, audience. Be my guest.
Oh, help me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That's too funny.
Oh, but until next time, have a great week.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Our Crazy Lives with Clay and Wanda, brought to you by Anchor.fm. You can visit our website at ourcrazylives.clayandwanda.com. You can head over to our YouTube channel, search for Our Crazy Lives with Clay and Wanda. Our Instagram, you can find us at Crazy Lives of Clay and Wanda. And our Twitter is at Crazy Lives of CW. And our theme music song is See Me Through.